This is the GAN 354 version 2. The GAN 354 is a 54mm cube, which is slightly smaller than the standard 56, which you'll get with the GAN X or XS. So today we'll check out what updates GAN has made to their 54mm flagship. So this frosted plastic, which is new for the 354, but I guess I expected it. So even though 54mm is not the standard size, I do like the size of cube, as my main in the past, like a long time ago, was the mini Oolong, which I think was 54mm. But with that being said, there has been no smaller cube recently that I actually liked. So here's my 354 version 1, and I never liked it so much, although it's possible that I got the settings more wrong, and this has the old core, and there's going to be a new system I'll talk about soon in the 354 version 2, which means it's harder to get the settings wrong if you don't know what you're doing. But I've messed around with this a lot and never found settings that I liked. But let's just do a quick comparison. So obviously they are the same size, but if you look at the way it shines, this is glossy plastic and this is frosted, which means that this is a little stickier if your hands are sweaty, or if your hands are not sweaty, they are just a standard grip, while the new frosted plastic can feel a little slippery. I don't like the frosted plastic more, but when you use it a lot, then it just ends up becoming like this. And you can see that this is quite shiny, but it doesn't shine quite the same way the glossy one does, where it's really reflective. So this is kind of an in-between of glossy and frosted, and that's what happens when you use the frosted plastic for a long time. As you can see from the magnet system, this is definitely the GAN XS, and it comes only as frosted plastic, but it does go away over time. So neither of these plastic types are my favorites, but using the frosted for a while to make it go slightly glossy is my favorite. But even if this stayed frosted forever, I would like it more, as the feeling of it changes less going into competition because of hand sweat compared to glossy, which changes a lot, and I really don't like that. Okay, wow. Okay, this box actually contains nothing. So this system looks like it's a spring, but since nothing comes with this, I don't think you can change the spring strength. But what you can do is change the screw tightness. So this right here is pointing at 0.6. So if I were to turn this, I think I can press down and turn until it snaps into place right there, then that's now at 0.8. Now what these mean is the centerpiece travel distance. So 0.8 means it can travel more distance, which means this should now be looser. There we go. So 0.8 and the side is 0.6, it is definitely looser. And if we turn to the last option, right here, then it just pops out and you can remove it. Although I'm not sure why you'd want to remove it, because you can't swap it with any other springs anyway, unless maybe we can use what's in the GAN XS, but it doesn't come with this, so I'll assume we don't have that. I have all of them set to 0.8 right now, which makes it looser. Actually, I didn't think I would like this because I usually like the cubes not too loose or not too fast, but this is actually pretty good while doing algorithms. It definitely gives me more leeway with the corner cutting, but I don't know if it's going to be stable enough during solves because it does feel quite loose. It's loose enough that I considered trying comms for blind, and some of them do work well, but some of them don't work well. I just got a center twist. The magnets are just the old magnet system, which looks like it would be the same type as the GAN X, where you can swap them out, but they don't give you more magnets to swap out, and I think these are probably glued in. So this is just, I guess, a frosted and different core version of the old 354. Now I'll do some solves on both of these settings for the core and let you guys know what I think. So I started with trying this cube on 0.8 for the core setting, and I don't like it because it is just way too loose, and I don't find the setting to be quite usable, as 0.6 is already quite loose. So I was using this cube more on 0.6 and trying to get used to it, as I am sometimes able to deal with cubes being really loose and really fast, but in this case, it just wasn't working for me. So having two settings is fine as long as one is looser and one is tighter, or one of them is in the middle at least, but this was neither. Both of the settings were too loose and there's no way to change that. I could use like the 354 original core, but I don't think that's worth it, as I didn't like that cube anyway. Although that is a way I could make it tighter. So I was having a lot of trouble controlling this cube, and there are some algorithms, like some of the riskier algorithms I use for PLL, like my V-perm for example, that I just couldn't do at all. And this has nothing to do with the cube's size. As I was turning, it felt perfectly fine, except for the fact that it was just too loose and fast, and that's not something that I can control very well when I'm turning very quickly. And unlike with GAN's other cubes, which are more expensive, like $60 for the XS and X, this one is only $35. The more expensive ones come with more ways you can customize it, including the screws, springs, and magnets, while the 354 doesn't have those things. It only has two settings, and I don't like either of them. Now, because this cube is so fast, I was thinking it could make a good one-handed cube, and the turn speed is great, but the magnets are too strong strong and you can't change them. With one-handed, you want it to turn very fast so it's less effort, but when the magnets are really strong, then you're pretty much always in two scenarios. Either you're pushing against the magnets attracting each other, or midway through each turn, you're going through the fastest cube ever. And those do not mix well because you can't control your force that well when you're turning with only one finger. So that doesn't make a very good combo for one-handed, and if you're looking for a 54mm cube for one-handed, I think the Guhong V3 is probably a better option. I don't think it's that good of a cube, but for one-handed it's definitely better and it's the same size. And also the Guhong V3 is only for $12. And I think the Wu Wei is 55mm, that is my one-handed main. I'm not sure how great it is for one-handed, but I like the size more than 56mm, so that's what I use, and that is for $15. So overall, I didn't have a problem with the size of this cube, and even though I don't like the original GAN 354, I still liked it more than this because you can change the settings more, specifically to a spot where the cube is not so loose, and that is my main problem with the 354 version 2. Now, if I had to use this cube, I would heavily lube it with like weight 5 that was so much that the cube just super slowed down. That would fix it being too fast, but it wouldn't fix how loose it is, so I guess it would help. But overall, of course, I don't recommend this cube, especially with it being $35, and you can definitely get better cubes for the same price or cheaper. For example, the Moyu WRM, which is really popular, the GAN XS, which is a lot better but more expensive, or the MGC Elite, which comes with a lot of ways you can customize it, pretty much like the more expensive ones, except it's just slightly not quite as good. So that's it for my thoughts on this cube. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you all next time.